Obviously excited for this time of year. We just, like we said, just finished up our last practice and preseason is over. This is, I think, what everybody has been waiting for. I think everybody across the country, including Ferrum, is very excited about tomorrow and getting a chance to play against another opponent. So great time of year, and our guys are excited to play.
This preseason, how do you feel like it went overall, and how much did y'all learn from your two scrimmages preseason?
I think it was good. You know, I think the biggest part about it, Stephen, is the fact that you had a lot of guys that when we started on June 12th knew what our system was, knew what we're trying to accomplish, you know, on the court especially, but off the court how we want to do it. So that helped the younger guys. So again, I've said this before, last year so much of our time was spent on how we do things, not as much what we do. I feel like in this preseason we've been able as a staff to focus on what we do because the guys have a feel on how to do it. But it's nowhere near there. You're always enforcing and building on how to do things, but at least we could focus on some of the more of the details this preseason, and that was beneficial.
What kind of scouting report do you have on Ferrum?
You know, 5 of their top 6 leading scorers are back for Coach Corrigan's team. Really hard-playing team, great respect for them. You know, this time of year, Brian, no matter who we played, you don't know so much about the opponent other than what happened last year. And it would not matter whoever the opponent was because there's new players. You don't know if they put in new stuff offensively, defensively. So you do your best regardless to play based on what they did at the end of last year. But Calvin Washington averaged 18 points a game. He's a returning player for them. Again, 5 of their 6 leading scorers, so they're an older team that returns a lot. And Coach Corrigan's a really good coach, so we know it's going to be a challenge tomorrow.
Coach Schwartz, great last name, by the way. What's the most exciting part about opening night for you?
That it's opening night. You know, again, around the country, Ferrum, ourselves, everybody around the country tomorrow night who's fortunate enough to play on November 6th is just excited to get the season going. You know, the interesting thing about college basketball is I would think across all college sports, we have as much practice time as anybody. I mean, we've really been practicing as a team since June 12th. And that's us. Some have been even before that. Some maybe after that, depending on when their players came in the summer. So you've almost had this preseason of, I don't know, nearly 5 months or so, whatever that may be. And I think everyone's just ready to compete for something, to compete against other teams when the game counts. Secret scrimmages are really good. They're helpful. But it's not the same as when we get in Minji's tomorrow night.
Do you have any pregame rituals or superstitions you have, kind of like your players putting on one sock before the other before you go out ahead of a game?
I just want us to be prepared. Everything is done so that we're prepared.
Do you expect Bobby to play tomorrow? And then, you know, we got to ask you about Cam.
Yeah, of course. No, Bobby will play tomorrow. Bob is doing well. He's practiced for a week straight. He will be available tomorrow. You know, I think there will be we'll be smart about, you know, timeline-wise, like as we've been doing in practice, but he's doing great. Cam, we have no information on, and he will not be playing tomorrow because of that.
Is it frustrating all the season's here and y'all still don't know? Is it just part of the process?
It's part of the process. You know, you go in with a certain expectation, and no, it's not frustrating. We're just moving forward, and, you know, we're just remaining to support him, continue to support him, and just hopeful.
With, you know, so many guys back, what's it kind of like right now to a starting 5? Like, do you have it in your mind, or is it something that was open up even through the practice today?
No, I think we know who the guys are for tomorrow. I think there was some ebb and flow to it in the preseason, as I'm sure there is across the country. I think we've settled on 5, and I don't know if that'll be the same 5 that will be moving forward, but based on the way practice has gone, injuries, and all the things that go into preseason, we feel good about the 5, and we feel good about the guys that are coming off the bench. And, Stephen, I'll say the same thing. We had so many different starting lineups last year. It really comes down to who you trust to finish the game. And obviously starting gets so much attention, but in coaching staff's mind, in our mind, it's really not the most important thing.
At Media Day, Ezra talked about how he and Sear like to compete. How have you seen Sear grow since competing with a player with the caliber of Ezra?
Yeah, I think it's been really good. I think both for Sear and for Cal and for Val, all 3 guys getting a chance to go up against Ezra's physicality, not only in the post, but what Ezra's really added is his ability to step away from the basket. And that's not necessarily volume shooting, but decision-making, driving the basketball, and shooting the ball and keeping the floor stretched. So I think that's really helped particularly Sear and Cal, because guarding away from the basket is something they probably have never done until they got here. So I think getting a chance to go up against Ezra's physicality and speed has helped him.
You
talked about the players kind of having that level of comfortability, just being here before. I mean, how about yourself? You know, this is your second year. I mean, how do you feel like this year has gone, just preparation-wise, and just also just handling, you know, head coaching duties?
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know if head coaches are ever comfortable. I think you always worry what else could be. What do you not like? Today we went over 2 or 3 things that we have no idea if they're going to do tomorrow. The just in case. And, you know, what I do feel good about is that our core foundation of who we are defensively and offensively is in. You know, it's been installed, it's there. We have a long way to go to get it where we want it to be in terms of what we think is, you know, hopefully an elite level on both sides of the ball. But that being said, you're always, as a head coach, just always mind is going, what else do we need? Where are we not prepared? You think more about that as opposed to ever feeling comfortable, just to be quite honest.
Coach, 30 years ago was the last time this program was able to make March Madness. How often do you think about that or use that in terms of inspiring your team? I know tomorrow's day one, but just in the long run.
Well, I think there's however many Division I teams there are. I think every single team in the country starts tomorrow with the goal of playing in the NCAA tournament. It's obviously the pinnacle of college basketball. So every single program from number 1 to 360-something, whatever it is hoping, believing, dreaming of that. So we're no different than that. In my office, I have the booklet or media guide from the very first game, the NCAA tournament that ECU played versus Villanova, 1972. And I have that sitting there. So there's no doubt we're like every other team. That's what we aspire to, and we would love to have an opportunity to do that at some point. But tomorrow, that's not where our focus is. But everybody has long-term goals, and we're no different than any other team in the country, and we want an opportunity to play in that tournament.
There have been some teams, and I know there were secret scrimmages, but that lost to lesser programs. Do you let your guys think about that hey, teams like this can jump up and bite you, or do you not even really talk about
It was the very first thing that was on the board when we started our scout and report preparation for Ferrum. Every single team that this preseason was beaten by a non-Division I. Basketball, you respect this game, and we respect ourselves as ECU basketball by having the ultimate respect for our opponent, regardless of who it is. And we have a great amount of respect for Ferrum, and we expect our guys to play as such.
This may be more of a game flow thing, but would you like to try out different combinations tomorrow, or does it just depend on how the game kind of goes?
Yeah, there's no part of me that's looking at hey, we're going to we're going in tomorrow to play our best basketball, to play really strong on defense. That's the foundation. That's where we got to be right. And the combinations are going to be determined for us to give ourselves the best chance to win. That's what the combinations will result in.